Welcome to Empowered by AI, the podcast for women entrepreneurs ready to harness AI to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Michelle Muncie Silva, founder of Innovative AI Studios. You may have left corporate life to start this entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have to go it alone. Here, you'll find a supportive community of like-minded women and an invaluable thought partner each week, as my guests and I share actionable insights you can use right away. So let's dive in together. Okay, so we are going to talk about AI Festivus, which was, if anybody does not know, 2 days of absolute magic. Because what we had about 24 hours of learning from 34 different speakers on various ways that you can incorporate AI into either your creative best self, your workflow, just being AI curious. It was all present and accounted for. And Anne Murphy was the absolute star instigator of that, along with her partner, Kyle Shannon. And so I want to talk to you, Anne, about what that was like for you and what some of the standout moments were for you from AI Festivus in 2024.
It was incredible. And I'm so glad you added the in 2024 part, because obviously we set a pretty high bar for ourselves to continue, but it's got to be a tradition now.
Oh, it does. Yeah, no, that's 100% required.
That's 100% required. We had so much fun. I will say that I typically have a little bit of like post-event blues that happens when I do something big. Or I remember having it after my wedding, where you've been planning for something, it's really exciting, your dopamine's firing, your adrenaline is up, and then the event is over and you're like, where did my friends go? Nobody loves me. There's nothing new and exciting on the horizon, right? Something about the way that our nervous systems work. In my case, I get post-event blues, but I haven't really even had the opportunity to go too deep into it, because the ripple effect from this event has just, it like just keeps rippling. It keeps building and building. And every day I hear about a new thing that has spun out of it, a new relationship, a new initiative, a new client, people working together, paying each other money to do cool, just knocks my socks off. So I've just been continuing to ride this high, and I couldn't be more excited for the whole community, as well as for those of us who were in that core group of people planning it. It just was great.
Now, do you see that these ripple effects, the things that you're noticing, is that mostly with the speakers that you're seeing, or are you seeing some innovation happening with the attendees as well?
So it's I everywhere. So if you see, I'll give an example. So we had 3,200 people, or a little bit more than 3,200 people register. We had 2,300 people come through the event, which, as we know, is, especially for a free event, you're never going to see that. 25% show up is like what we're all like. The real high bar is 40%. If you hit it out of the park, you can get 40%, but we got some really high turnout rates. Of those, 750 people joined the AI Salon. The AI Salon has been in business for 2 full years. Kyle is there on on TikTok every single night, and people are joining. But in 2 days, 750 people joined. And for me to see that level of engagement at an individual level is tremendous, right? And it's very easy and flowy to become a member of the AI Salon. There's not a lot of friction there. And still, people have lots and lots of places to put their attention. To see that kind of growth at the individual interest level, I think, is huge. Another example of that is that we had 1,700 people join the She Leads AI newsletter list. So for me to see that spike in interest over the course of a couple of days, it means for me, it's just the beginning of something really cool that's going to last for a while. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but people who are willing to say, I like what I experienced and I want to experience a little bit more. It's perfect. That's what we want for people on their AI journey. So we've seen that with attendees. We've seen that with the sponsors, them having a spike in interaction with these particular members of their community, their ideal clients in many ways. We've seen this happening with our speakers, some being approached by other organizations who want them to come talk to their groups, people who want to hire them to do services, to buy their products from them. So, yeah, all arenas.
That is absolutely fantastic. Now, as you're sitting with all of that information, as you're seeing these wins, how's that going to shape what you do next? As you move forward, what do you want to use that for?
Yeah. I'm glad we're having this conversation today because all of those ideas are still coming to me in like waves. For me, so with She Leads AI, so this event was a partnership between She Leads AI, which is run by me, and the AI Salon, which is run by Kyle. So the two of us, our communities have in many ways very different goals, but in other ways very similar goals. So the next thing that he and I do will continue to meet the needs of both of our communities, the concentric circle that they are, which is pretty significant. So we took a look at what were people asking us for, and we got dozens of requests for, is there a certificate for this? Can I get a badge to put on LinkedIn saying I attended this? Is there some kind of people will use the word certification. Well, how can I tell other people that I've been through an event like this and I know how to do stuff now? We took a couple of steps back and then Kyle and I decided that it was a good idea, so we just barreled ahead without checking for different types of information. Can we actually create a certification? Or is there have to be some kind of certifying body? Turns out the word certification is more complicated than we thought. But people will be getting a something, a certificate, a badge, a something saying that they've gone through this program. So what we did was we took the AI Festivus content and we're in the process of working with the speakers and getting their permission to use their content. We're curating it and we're putting it into a learning management system so that people can take an AI readiness course taught by these phenomenal speakers who everybody has already said we love them, and then take quizzes, do homework, do self reflection, and progress toward a certificate of completion so that then they can say to employers, future collaborators, put on their LinkedIn, put on their resume, et cetera, that they've been through this AI readiness training program and that they are ready for the future of AI. And that was one of the things that came out of AI Festivus was, okay, let's listen to what the people are telling us. The people are telling us they need something to say that they've done this work. So that's step one. And that's underway right now. Today's the 7th of January. We promised to drop it on the 1st of February. It may be that we drop it to beta testers on
Okay.
February 1st. We'll see. But
Okay.
we're working on that right now. So that's an example. We're just turning the whole thing into a certification course.
I love it. And I still see so many just homogenous looking panels for events in this space. But AI Festivus was unique in that there were so many sessions that put women, presenters of color, presenters from diverse backgrounds at the forefront. And what was that conversation like behind the scenes? Because that just screams of intentionality.
Okay, are you ready for this? Oh my
So
god,
very ready.
I just got the most like goosebumps on top of goosebumps on top of goosebumps. We did not have to try. Zero effort went into curating this group, this is our group. This is our people. This is who we are.
I love it.
I did not do one single, even behind the scenes, putting my thumb on any scale. This is who we are. This is our family. This is our AI community. It really is this diverse. It really is. There's Alyssa. Alyssa is like 22 or 21. It really is 21 to 91. It's every gender. It's every race, every ethnicity, 87 different countries. I For sure, do I inherently keep track of how many white males are going to be presenting at an event? That's an occupational hazard.
I call that an
No,
occupational asset. I don't know.
like I'm going to pay it, but I didn't do one single thing to say, "Oh wow, we need to get some different representation or more diverse representation. This is who we are." Yeah.
But that to me says that you created that community organically beforehand. You get to really recognize the value in bringing all these voices to the table. And it's just an ask. Do you want to participate? Do you want to have a voice at this?
Yes. Yes. So for everyone who's listening and you're thinking about this time in our lives where we get to choose our community, we get to build that brick by brick, right? Most likely, most of the people who are listening to your podcast have been inside communities that they've grown up in a community. They started to work in a field and then that was their community, or started to work in an organization and that was their community. They never have to go, okay, world, I'm going to pick and choose. I'm going to put my little community together. What are my criteria? Who am I going to let into my space now? You get to decide now. It's like that saying, friends are the family you choose. If you find out a year from now that you are hanging around with a bunch of people that you don't like, you do not have anyone to blame, because right now you get to choose who you want to hang around with, right? You are not falling into any community. This is a very intentional moment for all of us. Finding your people, you're finding the people who you want to hang around with. And I think that was what one of the magical aspects of AI Festivus is so many people felt that click, that they'd found their people, right? Because they're hearing from presenters that are not coming in here saying, I use this tool and that tool to 10x to 100x to 1000x. There's no tech bro marketers. There's no, you can make money with ChatGPT nonsense. There's no, here's my book of 1,000 prompts for 1 cent. It was just real people showing up and talking about how they do AI stuff. And we had these juicy favorite moments where people's audio sound wasn't working and we all got to just hold space while somebody's sound didn't work, right? It wasn't like all of a sudden we're not having a good time because somebody's sound isn't working. At that point, the presentation was secondary. I was enjoying the rapport and the chatter. Why is the sound not working? So here we are. People got to meet these real human beings. They see these are the kind of people who we want to hang around with some more. And that's what we all have this opportunity to do
Mhm.
as we're repotting or launching or applying or building work groups, etc. Who do you want to have in that inner circle? And then one day you wake up and you're surrounded by the kind of people who bring out the best in you and who you can bring the best out of them too.
I think one of my favorite comments that I saw one of the participants leave was they said that it was one of the most energized exchanges and it wasn't overproduced.
Oh,
You
right.
felt like it could have fallen apart at any minute and everybody would have stayed on just to continue to talk through the mess. And that is exactly what you just articulated. It was like, hey, the sound's not working, but you know what? I'm just enjoying the conversation. You're real people that are talking about that happened to me. Here's it. was like, "Oh my god," when you just said that, I was thinking of that comment. The energy in the room was palpable. It was like it could have lost it at any minute,
Any moment we
but
could.
everybody was there for the ride, the camaraderie.
I love this notion of this thing could fall apart at any minute. It's literally exactly what was we were thinking the whole time was, "This thing could fall apart at any minute."
Woman, you put it together in 15 days.
Yeah, and that is something that I really wanted to come out of our conversation today was just how if I can share my what it was like to have the experience of I spent a few years really pouring into other people. It's not that I haven't for sure I put my own gas mask on first, my own oxygen mask on first, and our business is doing well and clients are happy and all of those kind of things. But then the time that I had that anytime, any opening I had where I could pour into somebody else in 2023 and 2024, I went for it. And I can't say exactly what that looks like because it looks a whole bunch of different ways. But most people, I think, most of your listeners, I'm guessing, no, here's an opportunity to help somebody out. And I've always felt, particularly when I'm most confused or I'm most frustrated or I'm a little bit down, the best way to shake myself out of it is doing something nice for somebody else. That just changes my brain chemistry. And so when I wasn't like getting the quick wins that I want with like all of a sudden now I know how to do automations, right? I was getting quick wins in my relationships, right? So I would connect you're the perfect example. You are the ultimate connector. Connect somebody and look at how great, like I would lay down on the train tracks for you, not just because you're you, but because of the people who you've brought into my life. Like you're amazing at this. And so you do these kind of things for people, you get them into the rooms with other people, you talk about them and help build their reputation where they're not in those spaces, sharing resources, organizing a little something, or being the person who drops into the chat, "Hey, I read this article." Right? Or, "Hey, what did you guys think about blah, blah, blah?" Or, "Hey, did you see that this member of our community just gave this talk over there?" However, you do these little acts of kindness, for me, what transpired in the planning of AI Festivus was it was a moment when what the good business karma that I had put out into the world came back to me all in one little event. It was just I was able to ask 34 people. I think we only asked 35 people. And because one person was truly unable to do it, everybody else said yes. We like nobody said no, and nobody said, "Yes, and here's my rider, and here's my this, and here's my that, and here's" it was pain in the ass. They were, "Yes, and here what do I need to do to help?" And it was amazing. So I hope for all of us that we have that moment where our karma, our business karma that we've put out into the world comes back to us in something like this or in smaller ways as well, because it's totally remarkable what we were able to make happen. It was really because there's so much goodwill built up in Goodwill Bank.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and that's I almost think of it as just it's the new way to be. And
It's
it
a new way to
shouldn't
be.
be new, right? It should be I think when you look at this as something other than transactional. You know what I mean? This isn't a transaction. This isn't my point of view versus your point of view and I'm trying to get you onto my side. I'm trying to develop a shared experience with you. Right? I'm trying to build a shared world, right?
Yes.
And it's if it's world building and not necessarily in the storytelling sense, but it's world
Yeah.
building in the I only have a certain slice of reality, right? I'm I really only know this particular part of reality. And if I can share a little bit with you and I can learn from you right back, then my reality just got bigger.
Yes.
And if anything, that's what I saw in AI Festivus was this willingness to share
Hmm.
just for this larger purpose.
Yep.
Let's just share and world build together. Let's expand our
Hmm.
understanding of what's
Yes.
possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that concept of world building. We're world building in 3D the reality that we want for ourselves
Mhm.
that at this point in time is pretty well informed in terms of we've all been in different kinds of organizations. We're not building our new AI lives without any previous information on what we want in our communities, right?
Mhm.
So for me, I've prioritized spending time with women, and I've prioritized spending time with BIPOC individuals and LGBTQIA and people with disabilities during this new era of my life because I figured I have spent most of my career working in STEM and higher ed with white males. I've had a lot of experience with that particular demographic. And now, as I'm trying to have a more diverse life going forward, I've just been really intentional about who I bring into the space and where I can step aside to make space for somebody else because there is a lot of opportunities there. And I think it's such a gift that we get to take advantage of right now. If we're getting to know someone and we don't have good vibes, we don't have to participate in that interpersonal relationship anymore.
Yeah.
How wonderful that we actually have a little button called leave here on our Zoom. We
It's
don't have the leave
right
button
there.
at life.
Love it. End call. The host has ended meeting for all. Oh, look what I can do.
Oh, look at the power I could do.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. So, speaking of purposefully created communities, tell me about where you see She Leads AI Society, because I know that got introduced
Yes.
at AI Festivus.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So yes, thank you for asking about this. So we were plugging along. We were going to launch our She Leads AI Society sometime first quarter of 2025. And then all these people started pouring in and registering for AI Festivus. And it was like, you know what? Deep down inside, we knew what we were going to do. Let's just clear the noise from the signal real fast. Just separate the noise from the signal, and we will launch what is to the best of our abilities, what we want the She Leads AI Society to be. And so what we launched was, and we're, yeah, so what we launched, it's called the She Leads AI Society. And we have a home for everybody to connect on. We live on Mighty Network, so we have a community inside Mighty Networks that people will be onboarded into. They'll have 24/7 access to one another as well as different learning journeys, learning opportunities. We have our events, so we have social Saturdays, we have member meetups, we have member jams. We're launching member jam sessions next week. And that's when one of the amazing members of our community brings her zone of genius to us. Doesn't matter what is the thing that your friends are always asking you for help with. Come teach us that thing, right? Sometimes it's going to have to do with AI. Sometimes it's going to have to do with lead magnets or building your email list or branding or whatever. Everything ends up having something to do with AI anyway. So this is the opportunity for us to learn from one another. We're giving members a discount on our She Leads AI Academy offers this year. We've got 3 or 4 of them that are coming online in the next couple of days. This community, it's the way that we're all going to be able to stay in touch all the time in between our Festivus like moments in our life where everything is clicking and everything is serendipity. In between all those spaces, we will be interacting with each other on the Mighty Networks.
And it's
We
those
did it. We rolled it
communities,
out. A little messy.
but it was beautiful. I absolutely loved it. And I am really connecting this to the success of AI Festivus, just like you did, because it's the time that you spend in those communities and building those relationships, learning from those people, sharing what you know with those people that make events like AI Festivus work. So it's
Absolutely.
all connected. So I'm so proud and so happy, and
I
I'm
know,
so
me
glad to
too.
be a part of all of that. That is so exciting.
It's really exciting, and it is in keeping with what I know to be true, which is that the best learning, the most growth, like, the real secret sauce is happening at the community level. So, I don't care what community your audience is find a community, that is where the learning is happening. Yes, there are, like, big courses, right? And yes, there are there's the masterclass with Allie K. Miller. You should definitely take that. These are really good opportunities out there. But if you want the really practical, I tried this, here's how it went, or I tried this with that client, here's how it went, or here's a big breakthrough I had with one of my retainer clients, or here's something that we saw in our company during the rollout. This is where you learn is in the communities. I'll give Josh Houston and myself as a perfect example. Josh Houston, who was one of the speakers at Festivus, has a platform called Quick AI Wins. And that platform is it's really for AI integration, but it starts with training at the individual level. And it really builds on everything that not just Josh has learned in the last year and a half of serving clients in AI consulting, but also what I have learned. So we all along, like I learned my use cases and Josh's use cases like day by day. And so for folks who are needing to have that social proof, like the the case studies, the use cases, get them from your friends. They don't need to be your clients. There's absolutely no reason they don't have to be your clients to be able to talk about how you ran into this, that, or the other obstacle in AI adoption, and here's how you worked around it. Those conversations are happening in communities. So I'm thrilled that I have a role in creating that kind of space for women who can go and just learn what's really happening in real time with real people who are also doing it and also making mistakes and also having a blast and also losing sleep and also making lots of money and also all the things, right?
Yeah. I think it's valuable to see someone who has either been in your shoes or looks like you
Mm.
or has shared experiences, or it's that bridge, right?
Yeah.
That bridge, you're connecting through that. Okay, I can see myself winning because look, you won,
Yep.
you know?
Exactly. 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 And especially in this field, if you will, because there are no benchmarks. How do any of us know when we're doing it right? Say you are Nicole Leffer and you have an AI marketing consultancy. Nicole is the closest thing that I have to a benchmark, right? I watch what Nicole's doing because she's super niche. She's in a very specific field and she was doing it for about 6 months before me. So I look at her, hey, I wonder what she's learning. And she told me like 5 things right in the beginning. I was like, okay, those are my new rules. And I tried and I was able to test what worked for Nicole on my company. And so then now I can tell other people what Nicole's rules were like for me, how I adapted them, and they were now my rules. And here's how we've gotten to where we've gotten to, and so on and so forth. And I think it's really important for all of us to keep in mind that we are all building the plane while we're flying it. Things do not need to look good. They do not need to be perfect. They can sound janky. Look at the crapola that the big tech companies roll out and tell us to like it. Are you kidding me? If someone's gonna say they don't like something I said or did, I invite you to meet one Sam Altman, right? Like, let
Co-pilot anyone.
go ahead, everyone. Please help yourself to Copilot and come talk to me about what I'm not doing well enough. Okay.
That's women too. We tend to wait. We got to take that course. We've got to
Yep.
do that thing. And I have been called out for applying for something because I had experience, but I didn't have a credential. Wait a minute,
Mm,
what are you doing? Oh, I don't look like the typical woman in this scenario. So that's
Ah.
interesting to you. Okay. All right.
Oh, that's
It's okay. That's and always understanding that's more about the person than it is about my action. It's about their experience. And so that's one of the reasons I think why this group that you're creating, that you're growing, and that you're handling with such loving care is so vital because wait a minute, I want to find other people that look like me, that have experience, and they're willing to put that experience on the table. There's no credential right now. You know what I
good.
mean? There's even if you were to go get your bachelor's of science in artificial intelligence, what would that even look like by the time you got your diploma in the mail? It's
Right?
changing that fast.
Yeah, it's changing that fast. And also, that's not going to help you set up your email list, by the way. And unfortunately, there are some of these things you guys have to do if you want to be offering these services and being paid to do them. So you have to, but you also have to have these like other, there's these like invisible credentials. You have to be able to do stuff. And that's what we can help each other with as well.
This is your boots on ground crew.
This is the boot. Yes, yes. We are the boots on the ground crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Kitten
we are.
heel or 3-inch heel, whatever you want. It's boots on
Whatever.
ground.
Or if you live in Oregon, you've got my my, my Birkenstocks,
Yeah.
whatever.
Birkenstocks
Whatever.
and Uggs are welcome.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. So, what is next? I know you guys are brainstorming. I know you
Yes.
are because you can't help yourself. What's next for AI Festivus? We are a month out from it being. It hasn't even been a month. Who am I?
No,
It's even
no,
been a
it's
month since it wrapped up, and I'm already asking about what's next.
yeah. So let's see. It ended on the 28th of December and today's the 7th. So it's been a week and a half. So
Yeah, that's a month in AI years. Come on.
that's yeah, that's like forever. All right. So let me share some thoughts that are percolating. And I would love these ideas are all at that wonderfully fluid stage where they can be nixed, they can be amplified, they can be evened out. But here are some of the things that are floating around. Mini
Mm.
festivi, two festivuses, festivi, plural.
Dears, Mises,
Many festivuses,
many
mini
Festivus.
festivuses. So some kind of maybe it's taking a few of the different themes and doing maybe 3 lightning talks on a couple of those for one event. There's the idea of doing like a semi-annual, right? Doing something in summer, certainly obviously doing something in the fall. There's ideas about more exploration of on-demand content. So, do we take this model if it works out, taking the live content and turning it into self-paced something that opens up quite a roadmap for us to use that format over and over again for different spotlight courses. There's building out spaces where the Festivus community lives, right? So there's space in the AI Salon. Is there space in the AI society in the She Leads AI Society? Do we plan it like a real summit where where we plan more than 15 days in advance, for example, and we get
But that was part
actual
of the fun.
that was part of the fun. Of course it was. Where we charge real money for sponsors to, and by real money, it's not that the money, I guess what I'm talking about are a lot more zeros on the end to amplify what we can do. Oh, one of the thoughts that we had that I'm pretty keen on is can Festivus be the brand for this is bunches of AI communities coming together, but like in with a presence there. So rather than having, we've got all these people from Maycon and all these people from AIX and all these people from I Heart AI and Women Defining AI, et cetera, have their communities there and present as part of the organizers, right? So that this is really, truly like the best of the AI communities.
You're talking about a convention.
I'm at that point talking about a convention.
Yeah.
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 Are you
So
considering a live event?
totally considering a live event. We've been talking about the possibility of bringing everybody together for sure in the She Leads AI world, bringing everybody together this calendar year. We've got some plans afoot.
I'm chair
We
dancing.
all we, all we have to do. Here's the thing. Here's one thing we know about ourselves is that once we have that launch meeting, it's on. Like it's happening. So it, we got to get the right butts in the right seats, have our first meeting. And then, yeah, I have a vision for an opportunity to bring thousands of women in AI together in one place under one roof for a couple of days in this calendar year. And it's really a matter of um, can it be this year or do we need to wait till next year? So stay tuned on that. But
I love
yeah,
it.
yeah, it was a real honor and pleasure to be part of it. And I'm just so excited about what it uncovered about our community. Like we really each other. Everyone really had fun. How many people's attended 23 hours of sessions? So many.
And the after party.
And the after party. And then they
And
self-organized
the
after
after
party.
party that created the after party. What did Nate say?
Yeah.
The inmates are running the asylum. There's
The
another
inmates.
party.
Yeah. Michelle, can you explain that to your audience? Because it really puts a fine point on what this community is like.
There was at the end of day one an after party. It was a scheduled, planned. We're going to bring everybody together at the end to just reflect and have a good time. As if the 12 hours were not enough, we're going to bring you all into another room and we're just going to talk. And it was fantastic energy and great reflections. That might be where I heard the comment that I brought up earlier, and it was just this really very nice way to wrap up the first night. And that just apparently wasn't enough people. And so at the end of day 2, somebody threw up a Zoom link somewhere. I was my travel day, so I missed it, but I saw it when I finally sat down at home and I opened up my messages and there's Nate going, "Hey, the inmates are running the asylum. Here's the Zoom link." After hours party number 2. So that really tells you, to me, that's just a testament to the event. There was so much energy. Still, after 2 days of
Right?
back to back fantastic information led by absolutely brilliant people, boom. We're not done yet, people. We wanna get together. And the fact that Nate was involved, God, his session, I saw his comments. Did you see some of his comments? He got over 70 people just in that one session reaching out to him and saying, "I need to be a part of your world. Tell me more."
Wow. Really?
Yes. And so it was just amazing. So the fact that he was a part of that after hours session just doesn't surprise me at all, because just the energy from his session alone, let alone everybody else, yeah, it was an amazing thing to be a part of. It really was. And I think that the energy that you bring to it, that Kyle bring, the purity of intent that you guys have is just, it's something that people really want to be around. So if there's ongoing AI Festivus events, I really want to let people know that this is something to grab a hold of. Get the
Yes.
tiger by the tail
Get
while
the
you
tiger.
can.
Yes. Okay. Let me say a little bit on that too, because this is what I think is so important. If I'm using myself as a little bit of a guinea pig about how these relationships and how communities form and get activated and just the rising tide lifts all boats. One thing I've started to notice is that it really is becoming important who's with you in the beginning. I know who I'll never forget any one of those 34 speakers who said yes, right? When opportunities come up later, I'm thinking of those 34 speakers first, right? That's just an example, right? Of we know when people are showing up for us and we're not forgetting it. And in my case, because AI Festivus was such a success and there was such a large volume of people, I'm getting a lot of those kind of out of the woodwork, people running full blast through the wall because they want to do stuff with me. And I love that. I'm like, yes, absolutely, let's go, all caps. And also, I just won't ever forget the people who were willing to hang around with me when they were the only person on my Zoom call doing an AI 101 training, and they were there because they were my friend,
Mhm.
and literally nobody else was there. I'm not gonna forget those people. Is there any great benefit in being one of the first few people who's on board when there's something new and good that's happening? Probably. Early adopters, there is a benefit in being an early adopter, and I think in communities, there's a benefit in being an early adopter there as well. When I joined the AI Salon, I poured so much in as soon as I figured out what my role could be. I didn't know what the AI Salon was gonna be exactly, but I was like, "You know what? These are a lot of really good people, and I wanna do what I can to help them, and I just feel like it's gonna benefit me in the future." And now Kyle and I have the relationship that we have, and Kyle and I can make a lot of things happen, and it is 100% because of the relationship, and he was there when I was little guppy, right? And he's been there for me, and I've been there for him, and now we can make big things happen together. I think it matters. I think it matters to show up for people.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And that's what these communities help everybody do. So please, if you are listening and you were on the fence, if you're still on the fence now, come on now. What does it take?
Yeah, what is
What
it?
is it? There's
What
a
is
lot
it?
of love here. There's a lot of love. You got to
A
get
lot of
into
love.
AI Salon. You got to get into She Leads AI.
She
And
leads AI. That is she leads AI.ai yet. Sorry, I'm reading two things. She leads AI.ai is
there we
the
go.
website for She Leads AI. And then the AI Salon is aisalon.com. You're going to put it
Oh,
in the show
I'm going to
notes
put it in the show notes.
because there's two AI salons we found out.
Yes, we learned that the hard way, didn't we? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I at this point, Google just knows me, and so I type AI and it goes, "The salon."
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
And thank you so
So
much
thank
for helping us
you.
break this down, and
So
I
fun.
again, just dive in, people.
Yeah.
What are you waiting
Dive
for?
in,
Dive in.
people. Yeah. Yeah. We'll be here.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowered by AI. If today's episode sparked ideas, don't wait. Follow the link in the show notes to visit innovativeaistudio.com and download your free resource created to help you put today's insights into practice. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with more tips, tools, and inspiring stories. Until next time, stay empowered and keep innovating.